Welcome to episode 9 of Kevin's Corner. This week, in the spirit of 8 months of lockdown, I'm coming to you in my pajamas. Last week, we explored step 1 of part A of the Behaviour Change Framework, identifying key moments of decision-making along the customer journey. Once we've identified these moments, we move on to step 2 of part A of the framework, understanding how customers are currently behaving in those key moments. If we're designing a brand new product or service, we may not always have insight on current behavior. But more often than not, our work as experienced designers involves optimizing an existing product or service, working to enhance the customer experience in some way. So we can look at our research to understand current behavior and pinpoint the decisions that are causing this current behavior. Research like experience maps, personas, analytics, all that good stuff. Returning to our Scotiabank case study, we're going to keep it quite focused and just use one of our identified key moments from last episode to illustrate step 2. Let's go with a customer selecting a mortgage rate option. As you can probably imagine, for a digital mortgage application, this was one of the top 5 most important moments of decision-making we identified. So for step 2, we want to identify how customers are currently behaving when selecting a mortgage rate option with Scotiabank. From our primary research, we found out that customers consulted an in-branch financial advisor on average 4 to 6 times from application start to finish, all to discuss their mortgage rate options. And in-branch, they would slowly absorb mortgage terminology that they perhaps weren't previously familiar with through open dialogue with their financial advisor. We also found out that customers would casually ask their financial advisors to hold their mortgage rate option while they gathered personal documents in the background. So a lot of good insight on current customer behavior here, but what do we do with it? Understanding current customer behavior tells us if customers are behaving in the way that we want them to or not. And if they're not, we need to define a vision for their ideal future state behavior. In other words, how we want them to behave once the product or service is up and running. So how do we define this future state behavior? Come back next week and we'll break it down.